All right, so today you just read through in your textbook to learn a little bit about this word energy, and we learned that the definition of energy refers to the ability to cause change in matter. So we also learned that anything that moves really has energy. But then you read on the following 2 pages to learn about 3 types of energy: kinetic, potential, and mechanical. They even referred to the movement of a roller coaster, this girl using a pogo stick, and then they even talked about like these examples over here: a ball that's sitting at the top of a hill, a rubber band that's stretched back, and someone who's getting ready to throw a paper airplane. So now that we've read this, we're going to go through and complete a notebook page together. So I'm going to move this textbook out of the way. Hopefully you've already printed the notebook page. The one that you are printing has 3 sections just like this. So what you're going to need to do is cut out around the large rectangle and then cut up to this dotted line right in the middle of that roller coaster so that you have 3 flaps where you can take some notes on potential, kinetic, and mechanical energy. So if you have not already printed and gotten this notebook page ready, then go ahead and pause this video and do that now, and then come back and we will get started. Right, so the first thing that I want to do is just remind myself, what is energy? So either at the top here or right along the side. I'm actually going to write the definition right along the side here. So energy, we said, was the ability to cause change in matter. So throughout this entire unit, we're going to be talking about this word and different basic forms of energy. But really, we want to know that it's change in matter, and it's that ability to cause the change to occur. So the first thing we want to talk about is potential energy. So they've given us this example of a roller coaster. We saw the roller coaster even used in the textbook, and we're going to refer to this roller coaster as we're taking notes. So go ahead and flip this section up. And when we're looking at this roller coaster diagram, and we're talking about potential energy, let's write down this word. Give you guys a moment to get caught up. We're talking about an object's position or its condition. So when we're talking about potential energy, this is the amount of energy that something has the amount of energy that something has because of its position or condition. So when we're talking about this roller coaster example, we know that it's going to have the most potential energy when it's right up here at the top of the highest hill. So let's write that down. The roller coaster let's refer to the roller coaster car, has the most I'm going to underline that that word, potential energy. At the top of the hill. I'll give you guys a moment to get caught up. So a couple things extra that I would like to add to this section. You may not have room on your paper. I have a little bit of room here, but I'm just going to write it right up here at the top on this flap up here. And I want to know that the higher an object, the more potential energy it has. So let's write this down. The higher an object, the more potential energy. So we're just kind of shortening this. It's also important to know as scientists that an object that has a greater mass also has more potential energy. So an object with a greater mass has more potential energy. And squeeze it in, more potential energy. If you're having any trouble taking these notes and following along with the video, what I will do, I will take a picture of these notes when they are completed. So if you want, you can just kind of put your pencil down for a moment and follow along if that's easier. And then you can take these notes when we are all finished. So now that we've talked about potential energy, let's talk about kinetic energy. That's the one that comes next. So I'm going to flip this one up. And I'm going to close this one because I want you guys really just focus now on kinetic energy. So potential is the energy that we had based on our position or our condition. So kinetic energy is going to be the energy of motion. So kinetic. Woo. This is referring to the energy of motion. So we had potential energy right when this car was right here at the top. It had the most potential energy. Kinetic refers to as it starts to make its way then down this track. So once the car starts to move, the energy of motion, and we'll refer back to our example, the roller coaster car, has kinetic energy. As it moves along the track. I'll give you guys just a moment to get caught up. So a couple things to note here as well, if we want to go up here to this top flap like we did before. If an object is moving faster, then it has more kinetic energy. So let's write down faster equals more kinetic energy. If an object has a greater mass, just like with potential energy, it now has more kinetic energy. So greater mass is equal to more kinetic energy. Okay, let's take a look at the last section now. And again, if you're missing some of these notes, that's okay. Just follow along for now and I will post a picture for you. The last section refers to mechanical energy. So we know that at the top of the hill we had potential, and then as we start to move, that changed into kinetic energy. So then what is mechanical energy? Mechanical energy is the total of the potential and kinetic energy in an object. So the total potential and kinetic energy in an object. So when those are put together and you take your potential and then you start to move and add in the kinetic energy, now you have potential and kinetic. That is your mechanical energy. Okay, I will post a picture so that you guys can get caught up with these notes, and we'll see you back tomorrow as we learn about another basic form of energy.